Okay, so in this session we are going to learn how do we integrate Pega with Google OpenID. Okay, so you need to have a login with them. So you all should have Google account, right? Just go to console.google.com and create your own project. Okay, so let me create another project. I'll create a new OpenID Connect demo. Okay, create. Now let's select this project. Sorry, this one. While it is being created, okay, right. So once you are here in this project, cancel dashboard. Okay, so let me just reset it. I'm working in this one. All right. So next thing is we need to register the client ID. All right. So next thing is that we need to configure the consent. So let's just search it here. Okay, a new consent. This is so we are going to make sure that every Gmail user could actually log in. So this will be external, otherwise it has to be internal within the organization. We don't have any organization set up there, so let's just go with the external one. Provide your name, so OBS, support email ID, any domain authorized, that is all okay at the moment. Just all right, set up. Scope. So scope is something that this Google will return to Pega. We need the email ID for sure. Okay, because based on that we will create our operators. We will not add any test users. Summary. This is fine. Okay, let's go to dashboard. So the consent is done. Next thing that we need to do is create credentials. So we will create a new credential. OAuth client ID. So which type of application are we talking about? Web application. And we will say OBS at OBS Pega. Okay. Not any other thing, but authorized redirect URI is something we need to provide. So that is going to be the URL, Pega URL. Okay. Actually, this should be PR or PR web dot PR auth. Okay. I'll come back to this one. Create. Copy this somewhere. So this is client ID and this is client secret. But before we come to this point, basically there's one tricky part. In the consent, in the credential, we provided redirect URI. If you're working on the personal edition, you will have something like this, at and localhost. Okay, but ours is different, so we'll just provide this one, save it. All right, we have copied and we have taken the credential client ID and client secret away, so we will use that in Pega. Now go to the Pega and create a new sysadmin category, authentication, sorry, not authentication setting, but authentication service. Select OpenID Connect, name it OBS SSO or OBS login. Okay, create and open. Provide an alias and then import the metadata. So metadata can be imported from a URL. This is the URL that will always be true for Google. Okay. From this URL, you can always configure all the essential elements. So submit. This will autofill all the details. And then you copy paste the client identifier and secret. Okay, now you need to provide a model operator. So do one thing, just open your access group and create a different access group just by doing a save as. We will say open ID access group auth. Okay, create and open, save it. Now open your operator and save as this one as model operator. Okay, so this model operator will be pointing out to the access group that we just mentioned. It should not be your regular access group. Okay, and this should not be logging in using password, right? So it should be use external authentication, right? Pega will not be authenticating these users, right? So now we will use this operator on the authentication service. So what happens when someone logs in Google Authenticate? Google will send us the email. We will use that email and we will create a copy of the same operator, this operator, with that email, and that's the operator ID the external user will be using. Okay, so now let's save it. Okay, test auth with Google Connect. Save. Now this is the URL that we have got now for login. So for the users to access Pega, this is the URL they will be using. Okay, now let me launch this URL into another browser. So this is going to ask the user to log in. And see, now if you open this URL, this operator ID that got created, one second. This is the model operator, one second. But this is using external. Okay. So this is the model operator that was used, but it did not create any new user, right? It actually used the same model operator. So this is an enhancement. Ideally, we want them to have their own user ID and their own user ID with the email. So you use enable operator provisioning using model operator. And this is what we will use now. Okay. You don't need to use this one. Instead, you can use email, and that should be in. So we will use their email. Okay. And we will use this model operator to create an operator ID. All right. Now let me try that again. I'm going to log in with the Google. I think the session was already active. One second. But see, this one actually did not ask me because the Google session was already active. But this one created an operator by the email ID of the user. Okay, if you try to log in with a different user, it will give you a different email IDs. For the first time, Pega will create it. For the second time, Pega will use the same email, same operator. So this is how we can connect from. We can connect Pega to basically using Google. Okay, so this is the integration with the IDK provider, ID provider, IDP. Google OpenID is one of such options. There are other options like Microsoft Azure Active Directory, right? We can connect with them as well. But this one probably we'll talk about in another session.